Take a moment, place your thumb on your bottom rib, and I'm going to turn just so you can see me better, and your pinky on the crest of the pelvis, and notice that sense of the pelvis and the spine, the rib cage being parallel or not, right? And see if you can just use that feedback of your hands to help give your body a little more awareness of what's actually happening. And then when you think you have found that parallel, try to maintain it as you breathe. And just like on the back, it will actually feel somewhat restricting to the belly, right? Because there's muscles that are engaging that are preventing the belly from expanding. So if the belly expands effortlessly here, you might still be working to find parallel. Not that there should be strain, but just a sense of support and structure in the center of the body. Stand on your blankets. If it is scary, you don't have to do that. I don't want anyone to be afraid of falling over. So, okay, everyone looks like they're okay. Start to paw out the feet. It's actually really amazing. Just that little shifting and that little give allows there to be a lot more feedback in the feet. So just notice if you're extra inspired here. And then I want to make sure we're on the same page. So make sure the right side of your body is facing me. Cool. If it's not, you have to jump and do a 180 and land on your blanket. Shift your weight over into the left foot and bend the left knee a little bit and get springy here. Keep the big toe anchored. And then start to play with stepping the right foot back. And as you step the right foot back, spiral into the front leg just a little bit. So you're twisting to the left. Take a few pulses here, giving yourself room to explore. Ooh, and something important, because of the squishiness, make sure the knee is tracking wide to the pinky. It might want to drop in here, and it's actually going to take a lot of arch support to make that not happen. So if that's really hard for you, you can step off of the blanket. I want everyone's knees to be good. The next time you step back, pause there and just trust that that's a good stance for you for now. And now we'll do the same thing but with both feet on the ground. The back foot on the ground. Front foot is still on the blanket. So imagine bringing equal weight into both feet, right? Might mean leaning forward a little bit and just play with that. This is going to help your core support you a little bit extra. And then start to bend the front knee and gently spiral to the left. The left hand can float back almost like you're about to throw a bowling ball. And then push into the left foot, coming back to center, lifting your bowling ball. Take a few of these rotations. And as you rotate to the left, notice the sensations on the outside of the left leg, up into the IT band and gluteus medius. If your body's craving it, you can start to play with folding forward as you spiral, kind of like a modified Parivrtta Trikonasana. But just like all of our other poses, it's not about going further or deeper, but rather just giving your body some space to explore, like, okay, where does it want to go? Nice, Anju. And the next time you spiral, if it feels comfortable, play with pausing. And if that doesn't feel sustainable, try again. Come out of it and come back in with that sustainable mentality. If it does feel sustainable, stay and start to breathe and just be in this shape. You might notice, especially I'm noticing muscles in my front leg starting to fatigue. So see if you can adapt and find a way to feel more supported, so not one muscle is doing more work than another. And then straighten the front leg, lift the upper body, and this time just bend the front knee, letting yourself come into this modified Virabhadrasana 1. Press into the back leg and let the heart lift and open any amount that feels good. And then drape the body slowly over the front leg. Hands can slide down the leg or stay on the thigh. And then a couple of options here. Hands can come to the blanket if that's comfortable, and you can pause in Parsvottanasana. Otherwise, lift the back heel, lower the back knee, and if that's not comfortable, just make your way all the way down into kneeling with the front foot still on the blanket. So it's up to you if you want to hold Parsvo. And then eventually we'll all meet in this crouching position. Push into the front foot to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Let the hands reach up and then start to lift that front heel. Pause at any point. You might be in a neutral spine. You might decide to extend the spine a little bit, but just find where your body goes without resistance. Nice. And then gently release the front heel. Let the body drape down. Let the hips be really soft. And imagine the whole body just deflating. So there's no pressure. Let's repeat that and add on a twist. So push down into the front foot. Slowly start to inflate and expand. Let the heel lift. And then push a little extra into the right knee. Lift the left hand and notice how pushing down into the right knee helps you spiral to the left, so away from me. Complete the arm circle, coming back to center into the back bend. And then we'll do that one more time, deflating. And I'll let you choose on this last one. You can keep it forward like we did on the first round, or you can go through that spiral once again and then end up in the back bend. And then release the heel down, bring the knee in, release the arms, and keep the toes tucked as long as it's not painful. Let the hips come down to the heels and close the eyes if you'd like. We're just absorbing between sides and release everything. It doesn't matter what just happened. Just trust that having this pause point is helping your body learn how to support you best and how to release tension. And we'll try it on the second side. So place the hands on the blanket, lift the knees, lift the hips, and then as you send the hips back, bend the knees really deeply so the belly rests on the thighs. You can let the head hang and sway the hips a little bit. The hands can stay on the blanket if that feels nice. And then anchor the big toes, shift the weight back slowly. Roll up. And then step onto your blanket. Paw out the feet. Notice if you feel a little better balance now that your body's getting used to this. And then shift the weight into the right foot and start to step the left foot back as you spiral to the right. And take a few of these steps, just exploring how far the leg wants to comfortably go. Start to notice the muscles in the right leg waking up more, especially the outer edge and the lateral edge. And notice as you repeat this movement, you might find more fluidity, more connection. Check in with the knee. Remember that arch is going to want to drop, so you have to be a little more vigilant. Next time the foot steps back, pause and take a moment, look at the back toes. They should be mostly forward, but then a little bit pointed out like Virabhadrasana 1. Start to place equal weight in both feet, which might mean shifting forward a little bit, and then slowly bend the front knee. Lift your imaginary bowling ball and As you spiral gently to the right, let the right arm lower and reach back. And then push into the right foot, straightening the right leg and unspiral. And take a few of these nice, easy spirals. Again, not wanting to feel it in one place, but instead let that shifting action of pivoting forward start the chain reaction. And as long as you're not manipulating anything, the body's going to go where it wants to go. Nice. And the next time you come into the twist, pause there for one moment. Press evenly into both feet. Notice the space in the spine. You can let yourself hinge a little if it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. And then push into the front foot. Lift the right arm. And then bend into the front knee for modified Virabhadrasana 1. Equal weight in both feet, and let the whole center of the body lengthen and lift. And then drape the body forward. Hands can come to front thigh and let everything soften. You can stay high. If it's comfortable, you can allow the hands to come down and allow the spine to lengthen. You can sway a little through the hips. And then eventually, the next thing we're heading into is lifting the back heel and lowering the back knee. So you can take your time doing that as comfortably as possible. Nice, nice control. And then push into the front foot. Slowly roll up, lift the right heel, lift the arms. You can stay at neutral or you can extend through the spine, but have that sense of almost like condensing at the center from the work that we've been doing with paralleling the pelvis and rib cage. And then gently release the heel, let everything deflate forward. And we'll do it 2 more times. Next time we'll add the spiral, so push down into the right foot. Slowly roll up. When you get to the top, push down into the left knee. Reach the right arm up and back and notice how it just naturally wants to flow that way. And then complete the circle, landing in the back bend. And then one more on your own. Whatever is the most interesting or useful. And you can always hold for a moment. Just make sure you're breathing and feeling supported and fluid. And then when you've completed your 3rd round, you can release the hands down, bring your knee back, and walk the hands forward once again. Hover the knees. Send the hips up and back. You can go right into down dog or keep that leapfrog moment if you like it. Lift the heels, slowly roll forward. Let the thighs land on the blanket. You can adjust where the hands are if they don't happen to work out that. And then gently start to bend the right knee and gaze to the left. And then release the foot, gaze center, press back to down dog. Same thing, other way. So you'll roll forward into up dog and then you'll bend the right knee any amount and gaze to the left. And then you can flow with that on your own. So it's opposite. Whatever knee is bending, you're gazing over the other shoulder. And take a few rolls like this, letting the body unfurl, feeling the connection between opposite shoulder and hip. Nice. And then if you remember which one we did first, you can stop when you've balanced outside, so you can just stop where you are. And we'll take a counter pose, letting the hips rock back to the heels, resting the forehead and arms on the blanket. And then we'll do the same thing, but with pigeon pose. So come back to all fours, step back to plank instead of down dog, bring the left knee towards the left wrist. I have to inch forward a little bit so that my foot is not, you don't want the foot to be on the blanket, but you want the hips to be on the blanket. So it's this little tight. So figure that out. And then gently play with bending the right knee and gazing to the left. And you don't have to bend it far, but any amount is going to put a little extra pressure on your quad, which gets a really nice quad massage. And then forward and release the foot, and then push down just to lift the hips. You can straighten the left leg if that feels good as an IT band stretch, or you can just stay in a more plank-like position. And then set everything down, same side. Bend the back knee just a little bit and gaze to the left. And you'll pulse between those two shapes a couple of times, or stay in pigeon. Just allowing the body to play with unfurling. And it doesn't matter if the foot doesn't even leave the ground. It's just putting that little extra pressure down into the quad. Has been really a fun massage that I've been enjoying. If it feels good and you want to stay a little bit longer, feel free to circle the left arm forward, up, and back. If the foot's close, it's okay to catch it, but that's not the goal. And then keep circling, set the foot down, and repeat that a couple of times. And take your time, but when you've explored that side sufficiently, step the foot back, take a moment in down dog. And then option to either roll forward, as we've been playing with, into a supported up dog. Option to take your rest with a nice forehead support. So be with what your body wants to explore. And then when you're ready for the second side, we'll meet in plank. And this time the left knee will come forward and you'll swivel the shin, hands free, so you're only using your muscular strength. And wiggle the hips around a little bit. Make sure you feel supported, and take a moment to just be aware of how the pelvis and ribcage are relating to each other. Usually that helps me lift my pelvis a little extra and not put any pressure in my thoracolumbar junction. And then just say hello to the idea of unweighting the back foot and gazing over the right shoulder. And then tuck the toes down, push into the front foot, let the front leg lengthen any amount that feels good. And then let everything release back down. Unweight the back foot or lift it, gaze to the right. And then at any point the right arm can start to circle. Hand comes back down, and you can either just lift into a plank or kick into the right leg for that IT band stretch that might be kind of not for everyone. So play with where you're at. And we'll just take a few more breaths. So if you want to hold the pose, you're more than welcome to. Nice. And then square the body down to plank, step the front foot back, and release the knees down and take one final Bhaktasana with the forehead on your bolster. Push down into the shins, let the pelvis get heavy. So you can slowly roll up one vertebra at a time and pause, kneeling, just absorbing. You can hit pause on the music and just take a few breaths here.